it's becoming really urgent. For the sake of the bonobos, for the sake of these Lomako forests, and for the sake of the people themselves. They have to do something. I lost everything when I left in '98, but I believe this should not be the reason to give up. If you want to do something, you have to do something, even if the conditions are extremely difficult.
This is no man's land. It is a remote forest in the heart of the Congo. 4 years of civil war have left it isolated from the rest of the world. In 1998, Belgian primatologist Jef Dupain was forced to abandon 5 years of research on bonobo apes. He left behind his Congolese workers and friends and fled the country, just ahead of rebel soldiers. Now, an uneasy ceasefire has created an opening, and Jef is returning to the Congo, along with 2 conservationists, including Canadian Carrie Bowman.
The goals are to find out what actually is going on in Lomako related to the bonobos. Are they there? And are they being hunted? And what's the situation with the people? You know, what has the war experience been like for them? And hopefully to rebuild some conservation links with the people.
When I came the first time to Congo, the idea was to set up a research project. So we would do research on the socio-ecology of bonobos. But I became more and more involved in conservation. I mean, you cannot do research on bonobos if you don't have bonobos. It's only since 1930, more or less, when it was discovered that the bonobo is a separate species from the chimpanzee. In chimpanzees, you have the male who is the dominant gender in the society, while in the bonobos, the female seems to be dominant.
This sanctuary rescues orphan bonobos from Kinshasa's markets, sparing them from becoming a pet or being slaughtered for food.
Chimpanzees show more aggressive behavior. In bonobos, it seems bonobos much less.
Bonobos are only found in the Congo. How many remain in the wild is unknown. They are an endangered species.
Bonobos have this characteristic for which they were well known as being the hippies of the tropical rainforest. Bonobos have sexual contacts as some kind of communication, trying to calm down when there is stressed situation.
I have a PhD in bioethics. I also am a cross-cultural researcher. I was raised that there's a line, a very distinct line between animals and humans. I was raised to believe that. And within that line is morality and choice and all the things that make us human. Any kind of compassion for another creature, insight, emotions, that's what that line was all about. Then I began to work with the great apes, and I realized that line is really blurry. How can it be okay for us to completely ignore their suffering and their potential extinction? I think there's parallels to looking at, a group of people being isolated, hunted, and wiped out.
Là, vous connaissez dans le monde scientifique, il faut avoir les preuves, il faut aller voir. Moi, je dois faire des comptages de nuit.
Before departure, a Kinshasa non-governmental organization, or NGO, claiming to represent the people of the Lomako forest, contacts Jef.
Non, mais ici, on parle vraiment explicitement des bonobos. Et le seul but de cette expédition est d'aller voir si les bonobos, avec lesquels on a travaillé pendant 4 ou 5 ans, s'ils sont toujours là, comment le zone est. He wants to send someone with us. He wants me to sign a protocol. I don't have the funding, so I'm not going to set up anything. We're just going to look if the bonobos are there. Non, mais... Hop là, l'unité s'en finit. Là. Finished.
Yeah, if you wanted to restart research, in what way would this NGO impact you? I mean, would they put all kinds of demands onto you, or would they try to extend their influence to your area?
We'll see. Yeah, we will see. I don't know. And it's true. These villagers, they are very unhappy with the research team having been working there for 10 years, 20 years, leaving the area and leaving nothing behind. So that's what they're claiming now. The next team that comes in, they will have to do something for the local people.
Mm-hmm. But, even if we had long-term sustained funding, I always come back to this. I mean, what if if the war comes back? The war's not even gone. I mean, there's still officially a war.
The other issues, if tomorrow a logger comes along who offers substantially more than conservation can offer,
which they can,
they will. And, if you can't counteract it, if it's not officially a protected reserve, you haven't got a hope in hell.
The third expedition member is outspoken Swiss conservationist Karl Amann.
I think what everybody has to accept in a country like this with 80–90% of a rural population, the environment is crucial to their survival. If the environment goes down the drain, there's going to be more poverty rather than less. So starting to worry about the environment is in the people's interest, and the animals are part of that environment.
Their expedition begins on an old Russian cargo plane flying into rebel territory.
Bit of a tight shop, this conservation business. I'm kind of an outsider. If I was not an outsider, I probably wouldn't be saying what I do. The question is, are we helping to change things? Are we expecting things to change? Are we just getting rid of some money so we feel better that we have done our share? In the conservation establishment, I keep saying, you guys are not winning. You're applying Band-Aids to a cancer patient, curing him. You're just pretending. You're playing feel-good conservation. And, anywhere else you wouldn't last.
So this is Mangue Bofasso. We've been working together depuis 95, no? Depuis 95? We've been working together almost from the beginning. When I left him, his hair was still completely black. Quand je vous ai quitté, c'était tout noir, non?
Oui, c'était tout noir, c'était tout noir. Oui, je suis venu.
The Congolese Civil War is one of the deadliest conflicts in African history. It is estimated more than 3 million people have died, the highest war-related death toll in the world since 1945. A rebel army, the Movement for the Liberation of the Congo, or MLC, now controls this frontier town of Basankusu. The people here say conditions have improved.
Here I stayed several weeks. This is the Protestant mission. but nothing is left anymore. And in 97, it were the missionaries who sent a car to pick us up here when the situation got really tense. The people were killed here in Basankusi. Ici, c'est devenu quoi maintenant?
Ça est devenu maintenant l'école.
C'est l'école.
Good morning, sir. I speak.
You speak English?
Good. Le travail ici passé, c'est une institution qui est pillée, alors il n'y a plus rien.
Il n'y a plus rien.
Il n'y a plus rien.
Alors il y a combien d'élèves ici?
J'ai 280 en tout. L'institution est fermée momentanément.
Oui, j'ai vécu ici.
C'est la troisième année. La troisième année primaire.
Before this was the dining room.
Ce sont les enfants de l'école maternelle.
This was a sleeping room in the 90s when I was talking about 97, the soldiers yelling.
Ils ont là les exercices.
Ils ont pillé tout, hein.
Tout, en tout cas, tout est pillé. Tout est pillé, les pays, il n'y a presque rien.
But it's in the market where the struggle between human need and the natural world becomes clear.
Everything which, has some protein, it seems, is being eaten. It's my daily motivation as far as trying to tell the world there's something very wrong out there as far as, these creatures being eaten into extinction.
Hunting in the region has already wiped out many local species, elephants, antelopes, and hippos.
Qui va manger? Qui va manger? Qui va préparer? C'est qui va préparer?
C'est ma mère.
Ma mère? Préparer comment? En liboqué? Avec la sauce tomate? Oui?
It's now a global village. What's happening here in Central Africa can and will affect us. We have seen it with HIV, which is a bushmeat-produced, disease and epidemic. It's pretty clearly established now, and the rest of the world is paying the price.
Now, monkeypox, a disease related to smallpox, is on the rise, and bushmeat is to blame.
There is no real treatment. There is between 1 and 10% of mortality rate in several epidemics. So there is no real treatment. It's a virus. So as for all viruses, it's very flexible. This is already in an advanced stage because it's the latest eruptions appear on the face. So this is already.
And before that, symptoms before that are...
It's fever, only fever.
Only fever.
And they have on the palms of the head.
C'est le seul membre de votre famille qui a cette maladie ou il y a d'autres aussi?
Il y avait 3 et il y a 2 qui sont décédés, c'est le seul vivant.
Décédés.
Le problème ici chez nous, c'est que Bassan Poussou, la vie, elle est menacée. Elle est menacée, nous devons faire des efforts pour sensibiliser la population. Mais le fait même de manger les singes, qui est déjà cuit, ça, vous n'êtes pas exposé. Mais le fait de manipuler les singes, ramasser les singes morts, ramasser les rats morts, en fait, jouer avec les singes, là, vous êtes exposé. Lorsque les gens évitent de manipuler les singes, c'est-à-dire qu'il n'y a pas d'abattage. On ne veut plus tuer les singes. Comme ça, les gens sont protégés. Parce que quand on évite d'abattre les singes, mais on ne va pas en consommer. Voilà.
Alors on peut travailler ensemble.
Oui, voilà. Je suis d'accord avec vous.
C'est le sauveur des singes.
Ah bon? C'est bien. Là, on est...
And if you're lucky, there are still some fishermen who can come and bring some fresh fish.
It's a concern. There's monkeypox around.
Mais nous ne pouvons pas acheter ça. Pour nous, c'est interdit d'acheter ça. Pour nous, c'est interdit. Pourquoi? C'est protégé.
Non, c'est ça pour l'ancien coutume, l'ancien.
Même pas touché.
D'accord.
You can't look at the world's most impoverished people and expect them to solve all sorts of profound environmental and social problems. There's been 6 years of war, there's been hardship. I think if there's a way that we can fit in and offer something, we should. And maybe there's not. Sometimes it doesn't work.
Je vous accompagne à Lomako, Iloko Sami.
An official from the Kinshasa NGO surprises the team.
No,
La message vient de
he is
tourner.
the NGO we met in Kinshasa, and he's telling that he has to go with us to the forest.
Oh, okay.
To me, it's a very, very dangerous new development. A local NGO in Kinshasa stating that they represent the population.
No. But what do you think? I think it might be a good idea to invite him, to let him and
It's
have
your
a look at
decision.
what,
You have to live with these clowns in future. I don't.
Well, if we don't, we'll have a lot of hassle.
If we don't, they will be suspicious. What are we doing there? So they can go, and this can be.
Okay, but
this
tell
can
him to be
another-
ready in half an hour with his tent and with food. Okay, we go down to the port. Because, for several years now, community-based conservation has been the in thing, and I accept, and pretty much every body accepts, that you have to work with local communities, that they are the key to conservation. But I've seen so many projects turn from community-based conservation to blackmail-based conservation. They decide what do these people really want. They're here because of something we got and they haven't got, so let's go for it. Let's ask for X, Y, Z. And even if you satisfy the people on the ground, there's certainly somebody in Kinshasa or Bazanka, so there might be a new NGO here next time who say, we are representing your area, Jef, and from now on you're dealing with us. And this will be a never-ending scenario.
The NGO representative fails to show up for the departure.
It's so hard to relate it in terms of just an adventure because it's actually not going to be very easy. We're actually trying to get something done.
The journey upriver will take 3 days along the equator, in land as remote as anywhere on Earth.
It's a wild country. It's not an easy place to travel in. There's corners when you come around the bend in the river, you really don't know what to expect on the other side.
It seems that we go into the Lomako forest along the Lomako River, and it seems that in that zone there are a lot of people soldiers who deserted from the army and who are just wandering around in the forest. And with their guns, they try to get what they can get.
2 MLC soldiers are assigned to escort the expedition.
We are 7 of our team. We have 2 soldiers. We have 4 workers, Cobra, Manye, Mawa, and Ogi, the son of Manye. And then there is the driver of the second outboard. The project as it is now, it is in the forest of Manye Bofaso. He is in fact the most important one. And then we have Mawa, Lokuli Lofete Mawa. Mawa is the one I met first when I arrived for the first time in Burundi. Then he's been my right hand since '94. Mama was really someone who helped me, because it was for me the first time to go into the forest and try to set up a project.
Parce que je vivais en main de lui. Il m'a payé l'argent, effectivement. Condition de l'hôpital, et quand même, lui, il doit supporter. Comme ça, dans mon vie, j'ai vu que c'était comme moi, ma père, bien, mon grand frère.
Arrived in Congo, it was Mawa and Jean-Pierre who accompanied me. Mawa stayed at the campsite, Jean-Pierre walked with us in the forest, and we looked for traces of bonobos everywhere. But the first month we had, I don't know, maybe like 30 minutes of visual contact with bonobos. But after a few months, we knew already core areas where they were sleeping, where they went to eat, and it was getting more and more easy to find them. And then Mawa and Jean-Pierre guided me into the forest of Mangué-Bofasso.
Hélène, on est arrivé chez nous à Yema et je lui ai conduit dans la forêt. On avait rencontré des bonobos. Comme ça, il était fier. On avait commencé à travailler le même jour. Moi, M. Jef, Mme Hélène et Jean-Pierre.
Bonobos were around. I mean, this is a very rich forest for bonobos, more than 2 bonobos per square kilometer. So it was extremely promising. Mawa and Jean-Pierre guided me into the forest of Mangué, but made it in that way difficult for themselves.
Nous sommes séparés à 5 villages dans cette forêt. Il y en a un autre village, un petit cadre de forêt, un autre c'est comme ça. Et comme ça, comme je suis arrivé ici, tous les gens de Bolima n'est pas content avec moi.
Jean-Pierre and Mawa belong to another village. Mangué is from Bolima. So he has a problem with the whole village behind him, who say, hey, Mangué, you agree that villagers from 10 kilometers from us, they come and get out our money. Because that's how the people look at it. They consider the project as their property.
This village is named Gandaliboka. It's these people are living already about 10-15 years. And these are Gombe people. So Gombe people are coming more and more into Mongo area, which for us bonobo people is interesting, because Gombe people, they eat bonobos. Mongo people, traditionally, they don't eat bonobos.
If people are hunting and the taboo's gone, I mean, where does it end?
I mean, if with the situation now, the economic situation, more and more people go into the forest and go and settle themselves.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's time that the international community get interested in doing something for the bonobos and the people.
Since the 1970s, Japanese, American, and European researchers have come to Lomako to study bonobos. But when war broke out 5 years ago, all research projects were abandoned.
It's normal. People are suffering here. The war was going on here. People had to eat. They hunt whatever they can find, and to get the animal proteins they need. I'm primatologist biologist. I want to do research on great apes to understand better the evolution of our ancestors and so on. But I don't want to do it anymore without looking at the needs of the local people.
This hospital in the river town of Baringa was another casualty of war. It closed 3 years ago when supplies ran out. Missionaries from the Jesuit relief services have just arrived to reopen the hospital.
Bon, donc ici, c'est le pavillon qui aurait dû être la pédiatrie. Quand les lits seront tressés, ils seront tous comme cette partie ici.
Il y avait même des matelas. Il y avait des matelas équipés et nous avons des médecins ici qui tuent ne fût-ce qu'un enfant par jour. Il y a 3 ans qu'on n'a rien comme médicament.
Nous vous demanderions de nous assister, surtout dans cette période de guerre.
Nous vous demandons officiellement, comme l'assistant vient de dire, il faut faire le nécessaire de nous aider. Vraiment, nous n'avons rien. Il y a beaucoup de populations qui souffrent, mais sans aide, sans médicaments.
If we want to protect the bonobo, which is needed, we have to do something for the local people.
Jef calls Europe looking for $5,000, enough money to resume his research and employ the local workers for a year.
Oké, Lida, ik hoor de lijn is heel slecht. De lijn is heel slecht. Mama, zo. Malin. Ja, zeg mij nog eens, hallo? Ja, spreek maar. Nu hoor ik hoor u beter. Ja, maar dat weet ik, Linda. Maar daarom moet je afweken. Je hebt het aspect, het is het Center for Research and Conservation. En research is hier niet de beste plek, maar conservation is hier de allerbeste plek. Oké, ja, maar dat begrijp ik volledig. Oké, dan wens ik u nog een prettige dag verder. En en chance dat we Vlaams spreken. Binnen 3 dagen zien we elkaar. Oh, we elkaar. Linda, daar is. Okay, if I cannot promise that we will do scientific research, which will go into scientific publications, I do not get the money to do conservation. Then you have to. For me, is that we have the expertise, the experience in this area. I mean, this is unique what we're doing now, and we should use the opportunity to do bonobo conservation. We are one of the only teams that is doing bonobo conservation.
This is the sad story. We are running out around after $5,000, while one single tree taken by a logger is worth $40,000. And we on the conservation front, it's constantly like this. Conservation always seems to be at the very bottom of everything.
Some of the things that people see would shock a lot of people, like, an alligator or a crocodile in the boat. But I mean, this is reality. And I think you really have to step back sometimes and look at what you can have an influence on and what you can't.
I don't like the fact that the creature is suffering. I would prefer they butchered it and ate it. But the fact that they eat it is a compromise you're going to have to live with. I mean, if you come out here and try to tell them not to eat bush meat, you become a total joke. I mean, your credibility is down the drain. And it's kind of distressing. I mean, if you take the human rights issue as far as the child soldier, okay, that would be the first, the first level I would have thought the international community had some impact, that those generals would be sensitive enough to the issue to not send a child soldier with us in front of the camera. But the message clearly there is it hasn't sunk in, even on that level. And this is a human rights issue, which in many many consider 10 times more important than any environmental issue. So in that context, a crocodile on the floor or whatever is nothing.
The United Nations calls the use of children as soldiers a war crime. But across the Congo, it is estimated between 30 and 50,000 children have taken up guns for one side or the other. Their commanders ignore UN declarations.
Alors les militaires, ils chassent beaucoup ici, dans cette région, avec les fusils de la guerre?
Oh, pas tellement, pas tellement. S'il y a par exemple des rations, ils doivent se débrouiller pour manger, pour les surveiller nécessaires.
No, but they handled it. They say they answered it, yeah. I doubt it.
But oh, tabac.
They come to find a ration to live, to eat. Ça, c'est pour toi aussi. Tu vas manger au colis, au colis, au colis.
Non. Naquele beaucoup là. Hein? Et cola.
Now we are at about 2 hours distance from Bosonova. So still 6 o'clock in the morning, so hopefully by 8 o'clock we arrive in Bosonova, which is our port for going into the forest and to go to our campsite. And then we will have to send someone to get help for the transportable equipment to the forest. You will see. You will see. 2 hours. Okay? Days later, soldiers came to arrest us. Everything was confiscated. We were brought to Basankusu. The message was spread around that the spies, the white spies in the Lomako forest were found and arrested. In September, we found the possibility to come back to the forests. And at that moment we were the last researchers in this area, because all the others already had left. The war was still going on. So we left and we waited for better times. And this was November 98, exactly 4 years ago. And since then I haven't been there yet. Comment? Bonjour, Monet. Tangunini.
A 4-hour hike through tropical rainforest separates the research site from the river. Halfway, something unexpected happens.
This is a whole new village, huh? 4 years ago, this village was non-existent. This was closed forest. But, okay. Mange decided to settle himself here to protect the research area, which is that site. And to do some hunting. to stay alive, you know? Very important. But if someone is well organizing his time. If the bonobos are still intact, it means he did a good job. So we'll see this tomorrow.
On avait l'idée que les Blancs ne peuvent pas quitter ce jeu, arriver ici parce qu'il y a la guerre. Comme on vous voit maintenant, tout le monde s'étonne. Et tout le monde est sûr, certain que la guerre est finie. Comme ça, si la guerre est finie, tout le monde connaît que si Iti Bono, le rebelle, chers frères, j'ai beaucoup travaillé. Vous trouvez ce dernier groupe ou bien un groupe de bonobos ici grâce à moi. Si j'ai quitté cette place, vous pourriez trouver la forêt vide.
Regardez la maison.
After 4 years, only remnants of the abandoned research site remain. The forest must be cleared again.
For you, we're going to try to set up the methodology for density estimation. Alors, Mange, on commence si possible aujourd'hui, au moins pour apprendre la méthodologie. Et cet après-midi, on commence, dès qu'on est un peu organisé, on va commencer la recherche des bonobos. Oui? D'accord?
Since the 1980s, the World Wildlife Fund and others have proposed turning the Lomako forest into a protected reserve. But so far, it's only talk. The forest and the bonobos remain vulnerable.
Mange indicated already there are many things to talk about. Yes, there has been a lot of hunting.
Just found some feeding remains of the bonobo.
Peut-être 3 jours qu'ils ont mangé ça.
And it's 4 days old?
And he said about 3-4 days old.
Yeah. So we know bonobos passed through here, but it doesn't look like they slept here.
Bonobos are present.
So why do we have such a quiet forest?
Today.
Today, okay.
Today, now, this morning.
Dans des bonobos, non? Vous voyez?
Mm-hmm.
Hein?
Yeah.
You think?
Carl thinks what?
Empty forest.
Empty forest.
Syndrome.
I think it each time I arrive here.
Mm-hmm.
And each time it doesn't seem
Your
to
mind
be.
changes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I hope Carl is not right.
Comme moi maintenant, je sais bien, maintenant c'est Bonobos interdit. Parce que j'ai vécu beaucoup et j'ai gagné avec Bonobo. Mais il y a autre raison qu'il ne connaît pas votre travaux. Il voit toujours quand même c'est un animal pour tuer, pour manger.
Alors, le but n'est pas d'écrire des choses. Hein? Tu n'as pas de carnet ni de...
Mais ça, c'est notre vie, je peux dire ça. Ça, c'est notre vie. C'est comme au Chaba, il y a le diamant et de l'autre côté, il y a des produits de bois et ici chez nous, c'est Bonobo.
Ouais. Le but est pas écouter, mais pour nous montrer pour demain matin. Il faut qu'on voit les bonobos, c'est tout. D'accord. Alors, toi, tu pars où?
Je pars à l'XF.
XF, d'accord. Bon travail, à tout à l'heure. Ok. Tu penses combien? D'accord, tu vas visiter, on va construire le nid là-bas.
Oui, je vais en construire.
Si on part là-bas le même matin.
17h30.
Alors si on part là-bas demain matin, on va trouver la nid. C'est sûr, c'est sûr.
The team has searched for 3 days. The forest remains empty.
The last action plan for bonobos was written down in 95, but none of the recommendations in this action plan have been done.
Just found the remains of the fecal sample, so it's not there. So it's older than 2 days. The idea of a fresh nest is not true.
Where is it?
There you see, this is the remains of the fecal sample. The people here, Dele, Bohua, Bolima, they want this to be protected area to let scientists come. Now if you say, okay, the population is already affected, you can't do the real scientific research anymore, then you have to decide if you will only protect areas where you can do scientific research.
I mean, the problem is with these areas, they're not national reserves, they're not national parks. You have the people problem. You know, if you said we want to protect here, you have to kick these Ngombes out. You have to keep them out, you have to control them, which is very hard, Murray.
10 years ago, people were not living here. 10 years ago, this was not happening.
And now?
But, and people started telling, no, Lomako Forest, we have to do something for it, but no one did. So.
Okay, if you want to write that.
We have had the meetings for the last few years in capitals of big cities over the world, each time telling that something has to be done, something has to be done, something has to be done, and then we ask money to an organization that can give us the money to do something. And then you get a response like, yeah, but wait. We first have a meeting. In 3 months we will have a meeting. And then we will decide. And by the time we have this meeting, no, wait. In 6 months there is another important meeting because we have to coordinate all the actions in the field. But there is no action in the field. And now we arrive in the Lomako forest, and what do we see? That they gave up hope. They gave up hope of us coming back.
A new day, more searching. But it's not bonobos they discover.
Cet campement, c'est ici depuis quand?
They have stumbled upon a hunting camp.
Je crois que depuis mai. Mai. Oui.
Cette année.
Oui.
Alors c'est nouveau. Ils sont partis il y a 2 mois. Okay, so they came in May, June, July, August, September, August, yeah, 4 or 5 months they hunted here. Yeah, I mean, I would assume they left when it became less productive, you know, when the returns declined. And they went somewhere else where there is more money to be made or more meat to be procured.
Accepte, c'est bon, hein? C'est bon, comme ça, il ne faut pas arriver ici pour faire la recherche. Jamais. Jamais.
What's going on? We're just having a quick look around. Jef is just pointing out, saying, this is no longer a temporary camp, this is a village, and if this village lives of hunting, and the people of Bolima, Mwangis people accept the fact, then there seems to be no point to do research here, because obviously with this presence in the forest and them being active hunters, there's no way to stop bonobo hunting, and if you don't stop bonobo hunting, there's no point in having research or conservation.
Ça fait combien de temps? Ça fait 10 ans qu'ils sont déjà ici, peut-être? Hein? 6 ans. Ah oui, 95, ils étaient déjà ici. C'est vrai. Et tout le monde connaît Papa Nayenga, c'est la chasse des bonobos ou pas? Qu'est-ce que ton pays dit? Hein?
Il pratique les pièges, le piège.
Alors, qui chasse les bonobos? Ils sont plus là.
Ces gens ne sont pas toujours ici. Ils viennent à côté pour voler, en quelque sorte, quoi. Ils rentrent. Ces gens ne chassent pas. Ils sont là pour faire les pièges, c'est tout ça.
Well, it's their forest, so we have to respect, and tradition is their forest. If they can't protect their own traditional forest, then why should we come and engage the people and help in development if they can't take care of this? There is a lot of politics going on. The people of different villages start giving us information on, with us in our forest, you still can find the bonobos. Come with us, come and have a look with us. We still have a lot of monkeys, we still have a lot of bonobos. So I think all the politics going on the last, let's say, 2-3 days shows how important these kind of projects can be for the local people. Because it brings something to them. It brings employment, they can earn money. So I think they already have seen in the past what this kind of project can mean.
Time in the forest is running out. Carl and Carrie remain in camp. Jef accepts an invitation to a neighboring village, Bohua.
For me, it's very nice to come here. This was the first village I arrived in '94. I started my career in Congo in this village.
C'est un peu changé.
Ça peut changer. Ok. Papa Christian.
Merci.
Ça fait longtemps.
Oui. Monsieur Jef, ça va?
Ça va.
Vous devenez pendant gros comme ça.
Gros, hein?
C'est bien.
Ça fait longtemps.
C'est comme ça que c'est bien. Ok.
Sangonini.
Sangote.
Sangote.
Sangote. Kaka pasi na nzoto. Papa sindenge na ndenge papa.
Yes.
Ah, nzambe akutisi biso na yo. Papa Jef, kama nani? Ah, nzambe. Ah, Papa Jef.
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. Alors, vous pouvez raconter la situation ici dans la forêt, c'est comment maintenant?
Ndeko na ngai, atata na ngai mpe badimaki. Nzambe apeza oyo mofongoli Papa Christian yebisaki mpe bango mpe badimi malamu mpenza na kati ya famille. Na epai na bosiko lokola alingaki na kolinga te babebisa makambo ya kokota koboma bachimpanzees na banini. Esika wana toregretaki mingi mpo bitumba ezalaki mingi. Tokapwanaki biso na papa monsieur Joseph. Bon, ntango ye Joseph akendaka toregretaki mingi. Na matata oyo ezalaki mwa moke. Esika wana mpe tata Joseph, monsieur Joseph akuti biso malamu esengo mingi. Na mindelo oyo bakuti biso esengo mingi.
Parce que là où il y a parce que toi tu connais le valeur des chimpanzés. S'il y a les chimpanzés, le moment arrive pour faire la recherche. Alors c'est pour ça qu'on fait un peu l'enquête ici et là pour voir c'est comment la situation des chimpanzés. Et pour discuter avec d'autres organisations qui veulent peut-être, il n'y a pas de promesse, mais peut-être ils veulent faire quelque chose pour la forêt de Lomako.
But I'm a little disappointed. I mean, I was really hoping for some fresher nests, you know? I was hoping for some stronger signs of bonobos.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
They went with 7 into the forest this evening, and 3 of them came back with good news. Especially Mange and Jean-Pierre, both of them found a group of bonobos which are within reasonable distance, and they saw them making their nests. So tomorrow morning, one group of us will go with Mange to transect T, and then the second group will join Jean-Pierre to transect F.
Finally, the team spots a group of bonobos.
It was clear that these bonobos knew us. Or these bonobos knew white people as being not dangerous and as being most probably linked to the research activities 4 years ago. These were habituated bonobos, the surviving habituated bonobos, which was really, really very nice experience.
But success is fleeting. Overall, the team concludes, hunting has gone up, the number of bonobos has gone down by 75%.
Yeah, you decide, do you want to do something for the Central African rainforest and the fauna and the food security for the people living here and the health of the people living here? If you want to do something, you have to do something. Even if the conditions are extremely difficult, you have to do something.
After 8 days in the forest, Jef reports his findings to the local elders.
Alors, les bonobos. Et ce que j'ai trouvé maintenant, et je dois être très honnête, qu'ici pour les bonobos, la situation n'est pas bien. C'est mauvais. C'est mauvais. Et maintenant, avec M. Karl, on est entré dans une phase de réfléchir qu'est-ce que vous allez faire pour laisser arriver des chercheurs scientifiques, pour laisser arriver d'autres gens qui veulent faire la recherche scientifique sur les bonobos et qui peuvent aider au développement. Qu'est-ce que la population de Loma va faire pour nous faciliter notre souhait, je peux dire. C'est pas notre tâche, c'est notre souhait.
Mais monsieur, moi je vois ainsi. Tout ce désordre vient de vous. Je peux dire ainsi, tant que notable du village. Nous avions compris ainsi. il faut que la construction de l'hôpital, ça c'est l'aide humanitaire, intérêt public de tout le monde. Aide humanitaire et hôpital et la Syrie. Ça, c'est ce que nous avions séparé à partir de cela, aucune chose aussi que nous avions augmenté.
En 95, je vous ai promis une Syrie et un hôpital. C'est ça que vous dites?
Oui.
Vous pouvez me montrer
c'est
le
notre
document?
promesse des années passées.
Qui a donné la promesse?
C'est Bolima et le chef de groupement. On avait signé où? À Lefugona.
Qui a donné la promesse pour une Syrie?
C'est notre amour. Nous avions demandé l'aide pour notre droit.
La Syrie, ça c'était une question des gens de Bolima comme ça. Mais il n'y avait pas une promesse.
Pour le moment, il veut dire comme ça. Nous allons mettre la sécurité dans la forêt. Mais nous voulons vous dire une chose qui sera, qui va satisfaire toute la population. C'est comme ça qui vient de...
Et cette chose sera la Syrie, c'est ça?
Non, c'est de leur choix.
Mais c'est pas moi-même qui va construire l'hôpital, c'est clair. Mais je peux être l'intermédiaire entre vous et celui qui va donner le moyen. Mais maintenant, d'abord, le premier geste, le premier pas, la première activité, ce sera à vous. Et ça, je pense que c'est très clair, ça sera à vous. C'est votre responsabilité. Et moi, je ne peux pas faire autrement. D'accord? Hein?
Mal. Mais avant tout, vous devez vous mettre dans la main pour protéger cette forêt. Comme je viens de dire, la chapelle de données, pas commence par son nom. Vous devez vous entendre. Ne cherchez pas à vous séparer. Oh non, moi je ne garde que cette forêt de Yéma. Oh non, moi je ne garde que la forêt de Boua. Oh moi, non. Il faut faire l'unité. La force est l'unité. Hein. L'unité fait la force. Vous devez savoir ça. Par cette unité, vous allez garder cette forêt. Et c'est votre richesse. Alors si vous en avez négligé, c'est pitié. C'est pitié.
On se verra après.
I think what we saw on this trip was how our cultures collide, and it's very easy to confuse that with thinking we saw their culture. And there's a difference in my mind, because it's, you know, it might be something like nitro meets glycerin.
The expedition is done, and the team begins the walk back to their world.
I always assumed that the departure was going to be problematic, just because this is the last stand to be made.
Ok, on continue, hein?
But I actually could understand their viewpoint.
Au revoir. Vous ne venez pas?
There was enough confusion with how decisions were being made that it kind of unraveled towards the end.
Okay, in 98, like about 6 or 7 of my workers gave me some dollars to buy things in Kinshasa. Because of the war, we lost this package of dollars when I left the forest. And I was not expecting on this demand anymore.
Well, Jef said he lost it to the soldiers. They say we were not there for that, so, and we're not necessarily taking Jef's word. You know, an argument I would feel the same way.
In the end, some of them set up really nasty thing of, okay, you're not leaving. If we don't get the money, you don't leave.
They wouldn't have let Jef go if we hadn't had the military guys with us, I'm quite sure of that.
So we discussed with the commandant, so okay, finally, give them 50% of it. If you have the money, just give them 50% of the debts. Okay, we do that. And we did that at the moment we left
And as I said, we were departing, and you know, there was dissatisfaction, so you know, it got a little bit out of hand.
It's understandable, but it's no good. It's no good.
The only thing left I can think of is to take some of the top decision makers onto reality check tours to Africa, to places like this. I would love to travel with all the big shots talking about bushmeat who are not aware of those complexities, to see just how complicated it all is.
The good news for me, and I think this might be true of my colleagues, is that it happened. Can conservation be done under war conditions? I would say yes, it absolutely can.
For me, it's like finished this time of sitting in the forest and going to look for bonobos. If I can help set up something to convince like World Bank or others to invest in the area, to help people of that area. And for me, the focus will be on bonobos, but the main actors are the human people living there.